Okay, so today we're discussing the impact of organizational culture types on outcomes. So first off, I think it's important to understand that there are several types of organizational culture, and it's important to kind of define it. But before I define it, there's the four types are clan culture, adhocracy culture, and market culture, as well as hierarchy culture. So the basic definition is that an organizational culture is shared assumptions of a group, which determines how it perceives and reacts to various different types of environments. So the different types of organizational cultures, firstly, is the clan culture, which values flexibility rather than stability and control. So this is an internal focus. So you have got internal and external. Basically what that means is more of a focus on the employees, and then you have external, which is more of a focus on the customers and the profit. So with clan culture, it values employee involvement, which basically means it wants the employees to be involved as much as possible, and it really values the job satisfaction of the people that work in that organization. So that's just ultimately an internal framework. Then you got adhocracy culture, which is an external form of valuing flexibility rather than control. So it values flexibility on that external level, meaning that it's more adaptable to the market. So it's creative, adaptable, and flexible to an ever-changing market. So the idea with an adhocracy culture is that there's an ever-changing, unpredictable market that needs to be predicted, essentially. And so the focus is being able to effectively adapt and predict the market within that culture. So the outcome is just more so focusing on the adaptability rather than kind of focusing more on the employees. So then you got market culture. So market culture is it mainly values stability and control on an external level, meaning that it cares about things like profit, customer satisfaction. It ultimately wants to drive as much money and profit as possible. It's very, very competitive, right? So it's more competition driven. We want to make as much profit as possible. We want customers to keep coming back to this company or this organization, and it mainly focuses on that. So the outcome for that, or for this organizational culture, is customer satisfaction and profitability. Then you got hierarchy culture. Hierarchy culture mostly focuses on what I call a centralized structure form of organization where the power is centralized, and it's an internal focus. So the framework is internal because it mostly focuses on controlling the environment within the organization, trying to take control of the employees in that company. So ultimately, to kind of conclude, you've got the overall impacts or the outcomes of organizational culture as a umbrella, like the whole of organizational cultures. It ultimately influences your decisions, influences behaviors. It also affects your underlying assumptions, which the book kind of talks about, and how we, in these organizational cultures, we take for granted so much that it subconsciously kind of becomes what determines our decisions in that organization. It ultimately leads to how we perceive and how we act on certain things without even thinking about it. Organizational culture can create community, meaning if you all work in an organizational culture, you're probably going to have similarities when it comes to your beliefs, right? So that's within one organizational culture. It allows for the similarities within that workplace, but it is in opposition to alternate cultures, right? So like the external and the internal, they're going to be opposing values. And so different types of organizations, oftentimes they collide because of values and their underlying organizational cultures. And so that's why it can become difficult in this market for different organizations to come together and work on whatever their deals may be, just because of those underlying cultural values. So yeah, that's kind of my take on it.